Hey everybody, I am Adam from SolidSmack. I'm sitting here with Bertrand, who is the chief executive of a little company called SolidWorks. You might have heard of it. And this morning Bertrand was kind enough to give us a really impressive introduction to kind of what SolidWorks is up to in 2014. For those who didn't see that presentation, what's your kind of 1-minute summary of what SolidWorks is up to in 2014?
You're talking about the release, right? SolidWorks 2014
sure,
or the company?
And, well, I mean, you're the chief executive, right? So let's get both. Big picture and...
Okay, so for SolidWorks, what I would say as an organization, I start with the community, because the user community is really what matters. It's today, it's a large community of 2.1 million users, 550,000 commercial industry, and the rest in education. It's an outstanding, let's say, community of people who have the passion of engineering and design, and SolidWorks is the backbone of that. So we feel that we need to continue to have the mission to help and enable that community to share information, get from each other the information they are looking like, being the social link between each other worldwide.
Sure. And okay, so that's the first part, the big picture. Now with SolidWorks 2014, the release of the software, what would you say is the kind of elevator pitch for this release?
We are reaching a level at SolidWorks where, first of all, we say it's a SolidWorks 2014, but you have understood it's a new release for our entire portfolio, so which is SolidWorks 3D Mechanical CAD, SolidWorks Simulation, EPDM, SolidWorks Composer, and SolidWorks Electrical. Yeah. So that's a lot of product that we have to, update every year with new functionalities that are based, by the way, with user requests. Around 250 new enhancements are in the product for SolidWorks Mechanical CAD only. So and 90% of them, they are user driven. So that's very important. We try each time I don't want to select a specific functionality out of the others, but each time what everyone has to understand is that when you have a very large user community like the one we have, we need to make sure that the enhancements we are putting in the product are serving the largest percentage of our user base. So basically we will never develop one function or two that will serve only 5% of our user base. We always try to make sure that we serve at least 90% potentially of our users with that new enhancement.
That's a high bar.
It is. We have also, as we speak, you have seen the numbers this morning, a very large number of users in using the beta. And I can tell you that they are already very impressed by the performances.
I think you said 13,000 or something like that.
Yeah, 13,000, that's huge,
Right.
Very impressed by the stability and reliability of the functions, and also the performances improvement of the solution.
Absolutely, and I've seen some demos this afternoon that have definitely confirmed some of that, and we'll talk more about that later on. Now, I mean, like you just mentioned, there's a lot of stuff under your umbrella right now. If you could say, like, what is the common thread of new, like, stuff you're working on right now in the SolidWorks ecosystem? What are you doing? I know there's all this different stuff and all kinds of new features, but why are they there? What's the one thing that you would say is the most important priority for you as SolidWorks as a whole in 2014?
So basically, we today we are focusing not only at improving what we are doing, and I'm talking here about the product portfolio, but we are also investigating new potential areas where we can have solutions helping our user community in their daily job. And there are some new opportunities, namely, everybody's talking about mobility. Okay, we have new devices, I told you this morning, but we need to look at these new devices, such as the PDA or the tablet, in a way that is valuable for the users.
Yeah, you said this morning it's not just another screen.
That's the point.
Other things, yeah.
And to get the right use case scenario, when you think that way, it takes a little bit of time. And while the first idea that you have is maybe not the right one, etc., etc. Okay. So that's what we are working on.
Totally understand that in abstract. Can you give me any juicy details about any example of where you're using a mobile device as something other than just another screen to look at?
E-drawing with augmented reality. That's exactly that. So you are using the device not only to have your model or your assembly visible as a viewer on your pad, but also you are using the cameras, the positioning capabilities of the device, so that you can put your design in context. Imagine this mic here, I shouldn't maybe touch it, can be viewed virtually on the table as same scale.
Right.
So, and you do that with your iPad or your Android.
And we covered that on SolidSmack, by the way. You can find photos of this in a previous post.
So that's the kind of innovation that you, and so far as I understand, we are the only one, with that kind of capabilities.
Okay, so you talked kind of tantalizingly this morning about this whole mechanical conceptual thing that everybody's been kind of buzzing about for a while, and there's all kinds of conjecture in all different directions about what it is and what it isn't.
Yeah.
And I noticed there was, I guess, to put it kindly, SolidWorks was a little bit hesitant to talk about many details, especially to do with the C word that you mentioned, with cloud and stuff.
Simple.
Is there, what new can you tell us since SolidWorks World 2013 about this product?
Okay, at SolidWorks since day one, we do what we say and we say what we do, right?
Yeah.
And it's not going to change. So at SolidWorks World 6 months ago, I was on stage saying, okay, here is the product coming. So it has been clearly positioned. Right. So it's complementary to SolidWorks. It's targeting the conceptual phase of our customers, namely specifically the mechanical conceptual phase of our customers. And it's intuitive, it's social, it's connected, and it's conceptual.
Okay.
You have here the 4 key words of that positioning, and it's not going to change because once we have made it public, we are sure that that's the way to go. Okay. Now, as I told you, that solution is in use, is in usage and in production with 10 customers so far. Up to 30, the plan is to do that in the next 2 months. And we will, 5 months from now at SolidWorks World in San Diego, and I hope you will be there with us.
Yeah, of course.
We will be very precise on everything. Mm-hmm. Let's face it. We have tried few things. The users are telling us, good, great, no, not usable, stuff like that. So we are learning big time. And we will make public statement on what it is when we are sure that it's exactly what the user base is looking for.
Okay, absolutely great.
But believe me, and mark my word, it's recorded, it's very innovative.
Well, I can believe that. I mean, especially considering that we haven't heard, you're being, again, very cautious about what we say about it at this point.
We are not here. SolidWorks has never been an organization to make noise and not deliver what we have been saying. So we prefer to be a little bit low-key at the beginning and come with a good surprise than the opposite. I think the industry in general in the software and the CAD industry maybe in specifically has been suffering too much by people talking, over-committing and under-delivering.
Oh, yeah? Okay, there are some examples of that we can look back to, I think. I can think of a few of those. So, have you, so another thing that we heard a little bit about this morning was SolidWorks Costing, and that we've seen some progress with that. I hadn't actually heard about that in quite a while, and that was actually a question I'd planned to ask you even before you mentioned it this morning, was kind of what happened to that? We heard about it 2 years ago, and how has it been adopted? How has that transition gone?
Okay, I cannot answer specifically that question, but it's true that 2 years ago we decided to put that functionality in the product. By the way, last year we already also improved that functionality. It's like sustainability, we are really putting new set of functionalities. We know that some customers they do want it, and they are going to use it, but we need to learn. It's a little bit going outside of the pure engineering habits, which is creating geometry, making motion check, etc., etc. So very good feedback. You have no numbers regarding the adoption. You can ask the people here; they will let you know. Okay,
so one more question, and this is my curveball. It's a tough one.
Thank you.
So I gotta ask it though, because people want to know. Autodesk Fusion 360, is that changing your calculus at all in terms of pricing, in terms of low-end market, in terms of how to reach makers? None of that $25 a month has nothing, it doesn't make any difference to you?
No. The question is, okay, the competitors, they do what they do, and that's their problem, not our problem, right? And good for them.
Yeah.
What really matters is to make sure that we do what is right for our user community. And today, to answer specifically your question, we have not seen any impact or traction after that, changing the game we are in.
Okay.
Is it clear as an answer?
I suppose so. So then as a follow-up, and this can be the last question because we're running out of time, I know, How do you plan to reach? I mean, obviously you said 1.5 million of your current users are students, and I assume most of those are 18 to 24 years old. How are you going to reach the 12, 15, 17-year-old students who are all wanting to use 3D printing now and who can't get access to SolidWorks? How are you going to reach those people?
So you can get access with SolidWorks if you are a student. We have a student edition. So is it too expensive? Maybe we can
for
look at
a
that.
12-year-old, yes, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you. And don't make me wrong. And but it's true that I remember 7 years ago or 10 years ago when we started to think about students. We put it at a price where the adoption was good. So if we have to revisit that for younger kids, we will.
Okay, that's a good answer. All right, well, stay tuned. We'll have more, I'm pretty sure, from this event. So thanks so much, Bertrand. I really appreciate it.
A production of EVD Media.